This path is not just for just intelligent people. If you are just intelligent people, then you can be a successful scientist or an author or an engineer or accountant or a lawyer or whatnot. You can be that. So for the path of Vedanta, what you need is not only sharp intelligence, but you need a heart which is filled with immense love and surrender to the masters. Why surrender to the master? Because there is no other option. What do you mean by that? What I mean is the master is the gate. It's very wonderful. This is the beautiful statement given by Jesus. And in this New Testament, they have the verse says that Jesus is speaking, I am the gate. You will have to go through me. What does that mean? So many people got an inference out it that only Jesus is the gate and nobody else is the gate. That doesn't mean. Jesus being a master to those 12 disciples, he's saying, I am the way. What I am giving, what I am teaching, I will be the way. And there are some things which can't be spoken, which can't be explained literary wise, which can't be explained linguistically. There are certain things which are experienced just from heart. For example, somebody likes red rose. If you ask why, can the person give the answer why? Somebody likes white lily, but somebody likes some another. Why does a person like one particular flower? The person can't give explanation, but can say, I just like it. So there are certain things which are enjoyed by the heart. So Guru's presence should be like sun is for the sunflowers. Wherever the sun goes, the sunflower's face moves in those directions. You just have to observe the nature. At the sunrise, the flower is facing the east. At the noontime, its direction will change. And when the sun sets, automatically the sunflower will face the west. And as the sun goes down, the head of the flower also goes down. And next morning as the sun rises, so would this head of the sunflower come up. Again, which direction? To the east. So the disciple has to be like the sunflower, and the guru has to be like the sun. Sun is always shining. Even when you are a part of land, the country where you are, the sun rays are not reaching, the sun is still there actually. So the sunflower and sun are intertwined to one another. So the heart of the disciple and the heart of the master has to be like that, intertwined. And then when the master will share the jewels of the higher wisdom of Vedanta, then there is a possibility that all those verses will touch the heart of the disciple, although the intellect is understanding, so the intellect will get illuminated, but something is going to touch the heart. Some chords would be played, and a wondrous, inexplicable experience will dawn upon the disciple, and a wow moment comes. A wow moment will come. So it's not just pure intelligence which can take you further, deeper into this path. The heart has to follow the intellect. So the heart has to have that love, that devotion, that surrenders. And Guru becomes the gate of your moksha, the gate of your salvation, the gate of your nirvana. So it is both ways now. If the guru is unawakened, then the chances of disciple being awakened aren't going to be very strong. So a disciple has to be a true seeker, and a guru has to be the awakened one. And if a bond of love gets placed, then there are so many things which get transferred from the Guru to the disciple. Words are not required in that. Speech is not required in that. The audibility is not the question at all. Some things then just get transferred from the presence of the Guru to the disciple's heart. And this dip of love gives you the sheer contentment and sense of, I am on the path and beautifully on the path. The sense of being lost is gone. The sense of sadness is gone. I wrote sometimes these verses that, oh my mind, keep on singing and keep on walking. Your destination is just beneath your feet. Don't lose patience. Be in love and keep walking. Your destination is just beneath your feet. You don't even have to walk an inch actually. Because what you are seeking is just right within you. And it's the job of the master to make you aware of that. What you are looking is right there where you are. But the truth is like camouflaged with our own ignorance, and that ignorance has to be removed. So in a way, the relationship of a master and disciple is the most passionate, most deepest, most highest one. It's not a societal bond. It's not a blood bond. It's not family bond. It's just that the disciple is seeking the truth. Master has tasted it. And Master says, just be with me. In time, your bud will bloom. It will just bloom. Again, I will quote, see the example of the buds, the flower buds in the garden, and just watch them day and evening and afternoon. They're just closed. And then suddenly, one moment comes, it just opens up. The petals open up. It was a bud just a few seconds ago, and then it opens up. What changed the bud into a flower? The sun was every day there, the water was every day there, the manure in the soil was every day there, but it was not opening up. But then a time comes, it just opens up. Just by the sarovar, the pond, the Rajinigandha has bloomed. These sticks of Rajinigandha flower. It's a white, beautiful petal, and what a wonderful fragrance. It's so magical. And it's called Rajini Gandha. Rajini means night. Gandha means fragrance. The flower which gives the best fragrance only at the night time. In day, it's just a stick standing. Here comes the night. The same flower will emit such a beautiful fragrance. And please don't steal my flowers this night. If you have to, then you are most welcome to go in that direction and smell the flowers where they are in the flower beds. Oh, I don't want that next morning I wake up and, where are flowers all gone? There's another Raat Ki Rani, the queen of night. These very petite white flowers, again, they will emit the fragrance only in the night time, not in the day. What changes? Now, chemically, maybe some chemists can explain that, some botanists can explain why it happens, but you might be reading Gita every day and yet nothing happens. But then you listen to the master and the exposition and you're understanding and you're listening. And then a fine day, a fine moment comes and the blooming of your intellect happens. That becomes your direct encounter. pratyaksh gyan. That becomes your direct realization. What changed? So there has to be a very deep bond. Without that, there are so many professors who are teaching Vedanta in universities and colleges. I was in one of the conference where there were at least maybe 100 plus lecturers and professors who are head of the Vedanta department, the philosophy department. And they are all teachers and all lecturers. But did they all experience the essence of Vedanta? Big question mark. Because it's something which only you know, whether you have realized it or whether you have just collected the verses and the words in your head. Like somebody has zoology and botany and geography and history in their head. Somebody has Vedanta philosophy in their head and they have no relationship. They are not living the Vedanta. Swami Ramtirth used to say, I teach Vedanta which is living Vedanta. I don't teach bookish Vedanta. I don't want you to be a bookish Vedantist who will say, I am Satchidanand, and yet they are drowned deep into anger and greed and ego and jealousy. The living Vedanta is very different from the theoretical Vedanta. And blessed are those who get this opportunity to understand and learn, as this is the highest knowledge of all. In the world, if I say, which is the highest knowledge, this is the highest knowledge. Like quantum physics is the highest knowledge in the science department, the Vedanta is the highest in this Indic philosophy. But we don't see the philosophy word as philosophy, because philosophy word means love for knowledge, and that becomes very intellectual and very theoretical and very superficial. What the right word in Indian language is darshan, Vedanta darshan. Darshan means to see. It's just not hypothetical love for the knowledge, it is a way to see. There's a big difference. Like somebody said, I know how to cook kheer. The sweet dessert, the rice pudding. And then another person said, I have the recipe of the rice pudding. What do you think so? Which will work? A newlywed girl was boasting to her mother-in-law, the Indian mother-in-law. They are always around, cook food. And she said, oh, I know how to cook. I said, okay, you cook food. She brought her cookery book and flipped the page of the kheer, the rice pudding. And it said, take a big pot, put 2 liters milk in it, put 100 gram of rice which you have washed nicely into it. She did that. Add 500 grams of sugar, then put the cardamom, then put some saffron in it. And now stir it, and stir it. And she's stirring it, and she's stirring it. 2 hours gone, she's still stirring. The mother-in-law went in. She said, kheer is cooked. No, it's not yet. She said, my dear, you have to ignite the gas also. And that was not part of the instruction in that recipe. Right? Okay, I give another situation. She had also put the gas stove on. The burner is giving the flames and nicely everything is cooked. And somehow the wind flipped the page. And then it said, add garam masala, 2 tablespoons of garam masala into it. And she did that. Right? She never read what was on the top. She just kept on reading and she's following everything. So you don't make good kheer from a recipe book. You make a good kheer when you know how to cook. And you have learned under a cook Right? If a chef has taught you well, then you will do very nicely. Another story of kheer, listen. Somebody was cooking the kheer, everything was going all fine. She never added any garam masala into the kheer. Everything is going very well, very well, very well. And then the recipe said that at a very low flame, let it simmer. And it is simmering. A nice, nice smell is coming, and ooh, it's going to be so delicious. And it's 20 minutes gone, it's simmering, 30 minutes gone, 1 hour gone, simmering, simmering, simmering. And then the mother-in-law, again, she has to enter. So the mother-in-law enters the kitchen, and says, something is burning. Now what happened? She forgot stirring the kheer with the sugar and the milk together. So it laid up at the bottom of the pail, and it burnt everything, and the smell of the burning kheer is understood very well by the mother-in-law, but this newlywed daughter-in-law is following the recipe. What was the recipe? Let it simmer on low flame, and it will take 3 hours, and in 2 hours the kheer is already burnt. So do you make a good kheer by reading a recipe? Sorry, you don't. So Vedanta is like a recipe book. And many people have burnt their heads by just going through the Vedantic book. Oh, I have done 10, 20 Upanishad, I have done Bhagavad Gita, I have done Brahma Sutra, done. And the head is done. Empty. No realization. No realization. So recipe is only good when there is somebody to point you out your mistakes. So when you get egoistic, you need a guru to whack your head and bring senses back to you. Don't be egoistic. When you get filled with superiority complex and thumping your chest like a Tarzan, you need a guru to whack your head and tell you, wake up, smell the coffee. You are going in a very wrong direction. That's why it is very important to have a living master who holds the reins of your mind and guide you inch by inch to the truth, what you are. The truth is not further away from you. And yet, this truth becomes so difficult to realize.